It's 8 p.m. and here are our top stories.
Record-breaking heat across the Front Range, and it doesn't seem like it's getting much better. Our Denver 7 weather team is tracking the high temps that you could see the rest of the week.
And that's when I knew she was hit in the process of the shooting.
5 innocent bystanders shot by Denver police. And more witnesses are coming forward telling Denver 7 what happened.
Our first goal is always to protect our community.
Tonight we're also hearing from city leaders for the first time since the shooting on the officers' actions and the investigation.
These are decisions that unfortunately officers have to make and continue to make on a daily basis.
And a Colorado community in mourning after a local teacher and her young daughter are killed in a flash flood.
All right, we're going to kick things off with a live look over downtown Denver, which I guess is cooling down a little after we saw triple-digit temps.
Some nice clouds out there, Danny. Well, let's get right over to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. Mike, we broke not one, but 2 heat records today.
Indeed, we did. First of all, the easy one, the record high, which we hit 100 degrees. The old record was 99, set 2 years ago, and also back in 1998. All of these across northeast Colorado were records this afternoon. The second one was the low temperature this morning at 72. That's the warmest minimum temperature that we've had for this date in July on record, and it beat the old mark of 70. So it started out warm and only got hotter. 89 right now in Denver, 90 still at Fort Collins, and 95 out at Ray. There are a few cooling showers and light thunderstorms out there, but they're not very many. It's a bit like when you toss a little bit of water on a pancake griddle. That's about all it does. And as far as our conditions across the Front Range, we'll see a little bit of that. This is actually giving us a rather pretty shot right now from our camera. That is at City Park. See the sun glinting in there. I think we'll get some nice color showing up on those clouds in the next few minutes. As far as our weather headlines, the heat will be sticking to us in more ways than one. Isolated afternoon storms, little meaningful moisture coming our way, and that hot weather just goes on and on and on.
For too long. Thank you, Mike. And you can keep an eye on the temperatures and get 24/7 Colorado weather updates through Denver 7 Plus. Just download the free Denver 7 Plus app on your favorite streaming device.
Well, we are learning more about a police shooting in downtown Denver over the weekend where 5 innocent bystanders were shot.
DPD claims a man pointed a gun at 3 officers early Sunday morning, and the officers made the tough decision to shoot him. But the big question right now is how exactly they managed to shoot 5 other people.
Denver 7 CB Cotton joins us live from the newsroom. CB, police aren't really saying much about what happened, but you spoke to a witness who helped one of the injured victims.
Danny, Jessica, I did, and she is obviously still very shaken by this entire ordeal. First, I want to go to the video we've been showing our viewers. This was given to Denver 7 right after the shooting, and it appears to show an innocent bystander being treated on the ground. Well, this afternoon I spoke with Aubriana Banks, and she said she was dealing with the exact same thing early Sunday morning. She says she had spent the night out and was grabbing food near the intersection of Larimer and 20th when the gunshots rang out. And she says she ran, ended up in an alleyway, and next to her was a woman with an injured arm.
Well, I saw blood all on the front of her arm. I didn't even realize she was shot until I removed my hand, and there was all her blood on my hand, and I saw a bullet entry hole on the back of her shoulder, and that's when I knew she was hit in the process of the shooting. Luckily, my friend was also with me, and we just were calming her down. We kept having her tell us her name so she could stay conscious through the whole thing.
Some very intense moments. That woman you just heard from, Aubriana Banks, she says she stayed with the injured woman until an ambulance arrived, and Aubriana is hoping that at some point she'll be reunited with the woman she helped. Coming up on Denver 7 News at 10, we'll review all the additional details we have learned about Sunday's early morning shooting. Live in the newsroom, I'm CB Cotton, Denver 7.
Still a lot of unanswered questions. Thank you, CB. And tonight we're also hearing from Denver Police Chief Paul Pazin about the shooting. He did not address the officer's decision to open fire in a crowded area, citing the ongoing investigation. Denver 7 Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski takes a closer look at the investigation and explains why it's going to be complicated.
It happened about 38 hours ago here at Larimer and 20th as the bar crowd was clearing out late Saturday night. A split-second decision involving a police officer and a suspect with a robust criminal history. Sources telling us he's been out on parole for about 8 months. Earlier today, Denver's police chief speaking for the first time, promising a clear, clean, and thorough investigation.
Everybody wants answers for this, just as we do.
Now, less than 48 hours after the shooting, questions are centering on decisions to shoot with dozens of innocent people nearby. What is policy when you've got an apparent bad guy and a bunch of people standing around?
So that's something that will be part of this review, and that's something that our first goal is always to protect our community.
Chief Payson said his investigators are now reviewing body camera video from cameras mounted on street lights in the area, and conducting interviews with responding officers and eyewitnesses. Critical information the city needs before drawing any conclusions. It is Monday, and there are people Monday morning quarterbacking about what happened. That puts you in the spotlight.
Right.
How do you respond?
Well, that's something that we understand. We understand it goes with the job.
Denver's executive director of safety serves as direct oversight for the city's police department.
That's what we're here for. We're going to be held accountable to what we did and how we responded.
And city leaders are well aware Saturday night's officer-involved shooting was the third in less than 5 days.
These are things that happen in our community, especially with this prevalence of gun violence. These are decisions that unfortunately officers have to make and continue to make on a daily basis.
Several other state and local agencies also digging deeper and investigating right now. Chief Payson today promising more answers by as soon as Wednesday. In downtown Denver, I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kowaleski.
Tony, thank you. And we're learning more tonight about the mother and daughter killed in a flood in Larimer County Friday night. A GoFundMe has been set up for Lisa Schilling and her 12-year-old daughter Liliana. They were camping when a flash flood hit Friday night. According to the GoFundMe, they were inside a trailer when the water swept it away. We're told that Liliana was just weeks away from her 13th birthday and that her mom was a 4th grade teacher in Jefferson County. In a statement, the district said Schilling regularly went above and beyond as an educator.
The City of Boulder has a new tool to help alert residents in a time of crisis. It's a brand new emergency preparedness guide on the city's website. Basically, it will show you how to sign up for emergency alerts, explain the different types of alerts and notifications, and give tips on the best ways to evacuate.
Those emergency alerts were put into use this past weekend. A plane crashed in Left Hand Canyon in Boulder County, sparking a small wildfire. The FAA report released today shows 4 people died in that crash, the pilot and 3 passengers. For about an hour yesterday, nearby residents were told to prepare to evacuate before deputies gave the all clear. The victims have not yet been identified.
Northern Colorado is now equipped with a hospital that can treat some of the most severe and complex injuries. Today, UC Health Medical Center of the Rockies in Loveland celebrated becoming Northern Colorado's first Level 1 trauma center. That's the highest classification for adult trauma care, and it means that Medical Center of the Rockies has around-the-clock coverage by trauma surgeons and has availability of specialists across numerous fields. The state classified the hospital following nearly 2 decades of building up the services required to support a trauma care program.
Well, the opening of the new Central 70 tunnel in Denver went off without a hitch this morning. CDOT still has some work to do before the entire project is finished, though. They're stripping the westbound tunnel to create wider lanes, and they also need to change barrier walls, but that likely won't be finished until the fall. CDOT also needs to finish building the park on top of the Central 70 tunnel. Air Tracker 7 flew over that park today to get a look at its progress. This animation shows what it will eventually look like. The park will have things like soccer fields, an amphitheater, and a playground, and it's expected to open in November.
Egregious errors, systematic failures.
Several officers in the hallway or in that building knew or should have known there was dying in that classroom.
We're taking an inside look at the new report on the mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas.
We are rebuilding yet again. Our recovery is strong.
Plus, Mayor Michael Hancock outlines his goals for the city of Denver in his final State of the City address.
I've just met amazing folks who have totally inspired me about my life and about the world.
And X marks the spot, a Colorado woman going on an incredible journey to see the state in a way that not many have before.